Hey everyone, I'm ATRonTheGamer, and this video is going to be about my Demon Hunter. I've been getting a lot of requests recently to show off some of my gear, so let's go ahead and take a look at that, and I'll go over my skills right afterwards as well. So as you can see, if you haven't already, I have a video out on the auction house on how you can increase your damage. There's only a few pieces that you can actually get damage increasing stats on. My gear really isn't that great, but let's go ahead and look at my gloves. My gloves have attack speed, crit hit damage, dex, vitality, basically some really great stats for the Demon Hunter. They could also have crit percentage, but they do not. My gloves are not the greatest. None of my gear is really that good, honestly, but it is good enough to be able to allow me to farm things in various acts of Inferno. So this is some pieces of my gear, and some of these pieces were relatively cheaper than others. Some of them were more expensive, and this is a nice decent pair of shoulders, or at least I thought so. And I did sacrifice some of my stats like vitality and dex, my amulet, just so I could get attack speed and crit hit damage, and I haven't tried to upgrade any of my gear for a while. So I mean, this is just some really basic items, honestly. I got some the amulet's level 38, this is level 57 as far as level requirement, and basically just trying to focus on dex, vitality, resistance to all, and whatever armor I can acquire. So I also look for percent life on some of my gear as well, but mainly dexterity as well as attack speed where I can get it, as well as crit hit damage. And I think I identified this ring, which is relatively decent, not that great, but it's okay. And again, not the best gear, nowhere near the best gear, but some decent pieces, and it gets the job done for me. So again, this is a request from various people. I've been getting messages and comments to see some of my gear, so well, here it is. And I have some, as you can see, this ring has damage, dex, vitality, life percentage, as well as crit hit. It could have attack speed if it was a better ring, but obviously it does not. And my quiver, I did get elemental arrow damage increase, as well as dex, vitality, and it has a socket, so I put an extra dex gem in there. And this is something I want to point out for everybody. I think this is probably one of the most key things to have on your boots is movement speed. It's only 8%. I think you can get up to 12, maybe even higher. I think it's 12% might be the max though. But movement speed is amazing. Movement speed allows for so much more survivability, and it just allows you to get to places faster. It's great. Definitely try to get movement speed on your boots if you can. Weapon's a piece of crap, especially after the attack speed nerf. A lot of my gear is pieces of crap after the attack speed nerf, but it gets the job done, and I can still farm a lot of different spots in Inferno. So let's go ahead and look over the skills that I'm using. I'm using Hungering Arrow, Devouring Arrow, and the reason for using this is because this is an arrow that basically seeks out the target and does a decent amount of damage, and then it also allows my arrow to go through the target and come back and hit them again. So it's really nice when that's the piercing effect. That's basically what it is. So I use Hungering Arrow as my primary skill. My secondary skill, I'm using Elemental Arrow, Frost Arrow, and this is the skill I used to use Nether Tentacles, but after that got nerfed, I decided to switch over to Frost Arrow. Ball Lightning is okay as well, but I actually prefer Frost Arrow. It does 170% weapon damage and is as cold, and it also slows their movement speed by 60% for 1 second. I really love this move. This is probably one of my favorite animations in the games, and it's a great move for the Demon Hunter, so it works out for me. And let's take a look at what else I'm using here. I'm using Smoke Screen. This is basically my skill if I want to avoid death of any kind, or just basically about to get hit by something big. I can Smoke Screen and not get hit. Using the Rune Special Recipe to reduce the cost of Discipline. And I'm also using Vault. It's just another move to allow me to get away. Using, Vault is considered hunting, but I almost kind of consider Vault as a defensive move because it just allows me to move through space more rapidly. And I'm using Tumble, or the Rune Tumble, for Vault. That way my discipline cost is reduced as long as I vault within the next 6 seconds of my first vault. So a lot of the time it may happen, may not, but I feel like I end up vaulting multiple times when I am vaulting, so I use Tumble. And I'm also using Caltrops, which is a trap, and when I drop it on the ground, it slows the enemies, and I have the hooked spines, so it increases the slowing amount to 80%. and using prep, and I'm using the Focus Mind rune as it allows me to gain 45 discipline over time as opposed to getting it all immediately. So I kind of like the discipline coming over or basically just speeding up the process of regenerating the discipline. I don't know, I feel like it allows me to get the most out of my discipline. Could be wrong though. It's just felt like it's most effective rune right now, at least for my build. And going over my passives, I'm using Sharpshooter. This is probably a must-have for all demon hunters. This is one of the best passive skills in my opinion, if not the best, as it basically allows you to get 100% chance to crit when you're just sitting around and not doing anything. So I mean, my damage is capped out right now because I'm not attacking anything. So this is a really great passive. I recommend all demon hunters to use this. I'm also using Tactical Advantage, and as you already saw, I'm using Vault and Smokescreen. You can also see that right now. And this is basically also another reason for why I have reduced discipline cost on those skills, because I also am using Tactical Advantage. That way I can use it more, and it gives me 60% bonus movement speed for 2 seconds, which is amazing. Again, allows for, I use them both really defensively, Vault and Smokescreen, so Tactical Advantage allows for some great moving around and some great escapes. And the last skill that I'm using is Archery, and this is dependent on what weapon you're using. And I'm using a crossbow, so this actually works out really well with Sharpshooter, because since I'm guaranteed to get a critical attack from not doing anything while I'm at rest, and I'm using Archery and a crossbow, I get 50% critical hit damage. So the first attack that I launch, or the next attack that I launch from here on out, is going to be an automatic crit, and it will have an increased critical hit damage because I'm using a crossbow. So that's my reasoning for using that, and that's pretty much all of my skills and items that I'm using on my demon hunter. So I hope you all had something to gain from watching this. I hope everyone that has requested this information sees this video, and if you haven't already, please subscribe to me on my YouTube channel, and you can also follow me on Twitter at ATRonTheGamer. If you like this video, please click the like button. Hope to see everyone next time for more Diablo 3. Until that time, I am ATRonTheGamer. Later, everyone.